to see you, man. Welcome to Popternative.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having
No
me.
problem. We did that kind of pre-interview, and now we're actually talking about it. I find it interesting because with this film specifically, for you as an actor storyteller, does it read more like a Western or does it read more like a thriller? Is it split down the middle? Like, what's that like for you? Because I love the genre bending component of it. Because I saw it as a thriller and also a Western. I saw it as two movies in a lot of ways.
Mhm. Oh, interesting. I mean, I saw it as a pure Western. I read it as a Western. I think the cool thing about it is the thriller thing is because the cool thing that I like about Westerns is how vulnerable man was back then. The
Yeah.
elements could literally kill you. That's
Mhm.
what's scary. You know what I mean? Like if you get shot, you're dead. You get even in the leg or whatever, like it's just like yeah, that's what was scary about it. But that's what I liked about it. That's why I like the Western genre.
How much did you know about Westerns and these characters and this project specifically before? Like, what was the interest like before signing on to this project?
I'm super lucky. I got to play Doc Holliday. Yes, that Doc Holliday on Wynonna Earp for 4 years. So I love the Western genres. I do ride horses. My wife is a semi-professional horse rider. So, right now I'm out in Ocala, Florida. That's the horse capital of the world. I'm riding horses. So to get to do a movie where I actually got to ride horses, and Emily also rides horses. So to do a movie where you and your co-star are literally riding around the Badlands riding horses and shooting pistols is pretty cool, man. It definitely was
But
pretty
the
cool.
Western's always been around, Tim, but I feel like there has been this surge of popularity in a lot of genres like the Western, same with horror movies, where like they've been making content like this for a while, right? Like the wheel hasn't been like reinvented, so to speak. But like, what's it like working in the genre at a time where you know that there is like a big appetite for that content? Like you saw that with Wynonna Earp as well. Like it's big now, I feel like.
I hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in this industry for a long time, so I think it goes from zombies to vampires to, and then it comes back around again, and it goes, to princesses and magic and medieval, and I just think we go back to those stories because of the vulnerability of it. Like I said, like today's stuff, the problems could be solved with a cell phone. You
Yeah.
don't have that when you go into the past, which is why I think we go back to it. I think that the stakes are kind of immediately raised
Mhm.
when you go back in time, which is kind of cool. But for me, I like the genre because I like to play as an actor. And trust me, when you show up on a Western set and you're in a cowboy town dressed as a cowboy and you're covered in dirt, nothing's better. It's
Totally.
it's you get to play.
You can answer this specific with this project, but I mean, in a lot of ways, like reading a script, preparing table reads, all that stuff before you actually go filming it, and then actually going and filming the movie, I feel like in a lot of ways feel like two separate journeys from a storytelling acting perspective because a lot happens before you go film it. Does it feel like two kind of separate journeys, or does it feel like one big journey with like multiple steps?
That's great. That's it. I'm happy you said that. It is two journeys, but it becomes one journey because I am a big I like to be prepared. It's so cheesy, I say this, but I say fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So I really do the work before I show up to a set. Like I just know my lines. Like I tell any actor, if you're a young actor, learn your lines, be ready. Other people say no, but I disagree. You got to know your lines. You got that way when you're on set, you could just play, you can figure out stuff, you can work off the other people. That's when you can figure stuff out. But if you don't have the groundwork done, well, at least if I'll just speak personally, if I don't have the groundwork done, it's no good.
Mhm.
So I do all the homework first, and then I show up on a set and I get to play. But a set like Calamity was amazing because Emily's Calamity and Priscilla's Abigail, they gave so much. Their
Yes.
characters were thing that I just kind of worked off them and reacted off them.
Mhm.
And I got both of them on day one. So I knew what I was in for. And I was excited from day one because I said, these guys are just giving so much. It's awesome. And then you get a great director like Terry Miles. Um, he kind of starts with these big wides
Mhm.
so you can just do all this actiony stuff like you're in the mud, like we were running and falling, and like if I tripped in the movie I tripped, it was great, you know what I mean, and then you can come in and kind of discover the emotional aspects of the scene, but it was really fun to get to play them out first.
How separate or collaborative are past projects you've done when you join a new project? Like, are there kind of elements? Obviously, your body of work is amazing in regards to one. You played like you've been in all these different like genres, but you've played all these different characters, which I think is like the coolest thing, right?
Mhm.
But like, do you take things like from SurrealEstate to one project? Is there stuff that you took from Schitt's Creek to like more serious things from a kind of like acting kind of preparation standpoint? Like, are they separate or are there kind of links depending on the project?
No, they're totally separate from
Yeah.
me. They're just different characters. Once I say goodbye to a character, I kind of say goodbye to that character. I mean, this one especially was like a lot of credit needs to go to hair and makeup and wardrobe,
Yeah.
especially when you're doing a Western, because you know what I mean? Like they're putting dirt under your fingernails. Like little things like that helps so much. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like we did little minimal makeup, like we just put dirt around my eyes and stuff, but that made sense. You know, it helped define the character and to just the fact I actually got to ride the horses and shoot the gun and just live in that type of world, it really helped define the character. Um, yeah, they're all separate. I'll tell you this much though, being an actor is like the thing that I love about it the most is just that in life we're not that honest all the time. You know what I mean? We've learned just you got to keep some things private and there's other things in engagements you can't really say all the time for other people's feelings and stuff. But in TV, most of the time those characters are being pretty honest and brutally honest sometimes, and that's what kind of drives the story along. But it's cool. It's like if the one thing I can learn from acting is to kind of in your own life just be a little more honest sometimes. Would be cool.
It's interesting. And there's a lot of like, no, not really answers to this next question, Tim, but I'm just wondering if maybe, I don't know, depends on the project, I guess. With this one, Calamity Jane, like how conscious are you, like when you're acting, are you focused or are you thinking sometimes like right before you really get into it, like, are you conscious of the audience member watching this or like edge of your seat? Like, does that come into play at all when you're making it or does that happen when you rap? Yeah, you're like saying no. It's just
No, never thought about that one time. To be honest, the reason I do this is because action and cut.
no.
That's I love that. There's this little window you go into. I'm telling you, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like, and I've done lots of stuff. Like I've been in freezing. You dip me in freezing cold water. You say action. I'm not thinking about the cold. I'm not thinking about my safety. I'm
You're
not thinking
dialed
about
in.
anything.
You're
Then
performing.
you say cut. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm in the shark tank with sharks. Get me out of here. But this magical moment that happens between action and cut, and that's my drug. I just love that moment. Anything can happen. I think that's why a lot of people in films, directors, and other actors, that's why we do it. It's just anything can happen between that moment of action and cut. You don't know what it is. It's so exciting. It's exhilarating. And I think if I was thinking about other things, I would miss out on the magic of that moment. And that's the moment that I live for. So yeah, I just try and live in that little moment.
We're both from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, but we're realizing that with a lot of kind of streaming and everything, like I look back at one of your early projects, you know what I mean? Like Instant Star. Can you imagine if like, you know, I want like if that show gets like global streaming right now, like that might be like the biggest show. If you think about it, like, do you ever think about that?
No, it would. It was a big show back then.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, it was pre social media and
Yeah.
streamers. And I would love to. Alex Johnson and I actually were talking about it a couple of years ago. We're definitely would be down to do it. She's amazing, you know, as and like just to go back as like, I've always had this, I've worked with these strong female leads from just the beginning of my career. I'm so lucky, all the way from Alex to Emily, but just these, like, she was 18 years old, man. She was the lead of that show and she was writing all the music and the songs and like living in the studio and showing up on set. Like, just what a boss. Like,
So that was like one of my favorite shows. It's funny because I'm a creative as well. We wrapped a short film and some of my cast were in like YTV shows and everything that got like some syndication on like Netflix. And it's just crazy to think there was some good content growing up, man. Like,
Yeah. I know they had it on YouTube and a lot of people watch it. Like, I'm lucky I do a lot of the Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you how many kids that I've met that are.
Oh, they bring it up. They bring it Instant Star, of course, because it was so real, it was so raw, and like it was going like toe to toe with Degrassi for a little bit too. But I was one of those that watched them both, so there was no competition.
Yeah, amazing.
No, it's awesome, and no, I'm really happy. I want people to check out Calamity Jane, which is awesome, available to watch, which is really, really cool. And I want to thank you for doing this interview, man. It was great to finally do this interview. I've been wanting to chat with you for a while because we know a lot of the same people, so it's great. Thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, amazing. It was great. Hopefully we get to do one with our mutual friend. We'll do a three-way podcast or
Yeah,
something.
absolutely. No, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.